Hello, my name is Tatiana Arguello, and I am the Director of Workforce Development here at United Activities Unlimited, also known as UAU. Some of my duties is to oversee our workforce division. We have a lot of different programs really to serve our youth and our community while entering the workforce, and we have programs from middle school ranging to post-secondary. So it really is all-encompassing, really trying to get the next workforce ready for all of the different challenges we will see. I've known of UAU because I was actually an SYEP participant, and I worked SYEP for 2 summers, one at Ralph's Ice and another at a nursing home. It really was instrumental in my growth and my development because it allowed me to really understand what it is I wanted to do, and more importantly, what I didn't want to do. So after college and lots of different jobs, I found myself back at UAU working in their finance department, a lot of different contracts and doing a lot of budget management. So there was definitely a skill set there being developed, and one of the contracts that I was managing was our SYP portfolio. I had the opportunity to transfer over to our programmatic side and work more closely with SYEP. I spent a lot of years working with SYP and being the director of the Summer Youth Employment Program, really growing it on Staten Island and in the Bronx, and transforming our processes and our staff to really be what I think is one of the best providers in the country. I also had the opportunity to become the director of workforce development and really work my way up within the division. In terms of different experiences, I worked for a different nonprofit, and I think that that's really what geared me to this work. I also worked for a few for-profits. It really was interesting work. I got to see different industries, and I got to see what different work looked like, and it really was for me getting an understanding of what culture I wanted to be a part of, and also what work I really wanted to do. So when I was in the for-profit sector, work was challenging, of course, but it wasn't fulfilling. And for me, I knew, maybe it's as a millennial, but I knew I needed the work to be fulfilling. I needed to do something that I knew was making a difference. You spend a lot of your life working, right? And you want to do something that's going to make a difference. So that was a really good lesson for me to learn that even though I was good at that work, it wasn't necessarily something I wanted to do. So when I went into the nonprofit sector at a different organization, I really enjoyed that work. I knew that the nonprofit sector is where I wanted to be at, and I really think throughout my career I've learned what kind of leader I am, what kind of leadership I respond really well to. One piece of advice I've always told myself, and I think is valuable, is to work hard, to always put your all into everything. The values that I think of automatically is integrity. Every day that we wake up, we need to really be intentional about just the services that we're providing and who we're providing our services for. And so having our youth in our community always at the forefront and always at the center of our work. So knowing who you're working for and really understanding that that work has to be done with compassion, with understanding, with resiliency, just that integral part of why you do it and what you're doing, and making sure that you're doing the right thing for the right reasons. And so that's something that we at UAU make sure that we do. In terms of other values, it really is being adaptable. There's one thing that we know is certain, that things are going to change. So with that change, we need to be able to pivot, we need to be able to understand why things change, and we need to be able to respond to those changes. And so I think it's very important for us as a division and as an organization to constantly adapt. We want to be constantly responding to the needs of our community, and that requires us to adapt. Being able to be adaptable really should go hand in hand with nonprofit work. Especially during the pandemic, we were asked to do many different things that could have been seen outside of our scope, but at the end of the day, that value of being able to adapt really is what kept us moving and responding to what our community needs, what our youth need. The last, I think, is empowerment. Empowerment is very important because that's how you get true value in anything that you do, and that we really look for, because I think that's where you get the best work. I think besides saying it all the time, part of my role is to be a cheerleader. It's really to saying, how are we empowering our young people? How are we being adaptable? We have to be communicating to comprehension. You allow different voices, you allow people to be present in that conversation. You really do get different voices, different opinions, and just making sure we keep the values at the forefront of our work, because then we can know that whatever call we make was guided by its principles that we have as a team. There's always opportunity for growth. Even within this role, I often find myself telling and reminding everyone, Rome wasn't built in one day, and I really see that with the team. So what we're building here, the infrastructure, it's just keeping in mind, it really isn't just, here's the blueprint, it really is constantly looking at curriculum that you're working on, the partners that we're building, the training of the staff that we have within our division, the training that we provide our young people and our community members. All of it, it really is a constant redevelopment. It really requires everyone to be a lifelong learner and really be invested in what we're doing to get that buy-in from the community, from our youth, from our workforce. It really requires us to be innovative. It really requires us to take really hard looks at ourselves and to address the ever-changing landscape of our community needs and the market. I think that's the most exciting part of my position, of my job, because you have the opportunity to do groundbreaking work. I get to wake up every day and live with purpose and live with the understanding that I have an amazing team, that we work very, very collaboratively to address needs, to fill in gaps, to serve. I'm so grateful for that. Conflict is part of any work environment. I think how you manage conflict is very, very important. You want to create a space that's very open. Not everyone's going to agree with each other. It's actually really good. You don't want a team of yes women or men. You want a team that brings their expertise to the table, and sometimes that's going to conflict with each other. Really vocalizing and reminding each other of the understanding that we're all working from the same place.